Hello and welcome to Elecspo, and it's time to talk about Manchester United. It wasn't long ago that the Man United fans were storming the stadium in protest against the club's owners. Fast forward a few months and the Red Devils are spending more than £100 million on two game-changing signings. The first, the £73 million arrival of Jadon Sancho from Borussia Dortmund. After failing to get on last summer, Sancho is finally a Manchester United player and could become one of the star attractions of the Premier League. But he isn't the only marquee player heading to Old Trafford. At the time of recording, Raphael Varane seems all set to join Sancho at Man United. He's agreed a rather low £34 million deal with the Premier League giants, with Real Madrid cashing in before possibly losing him for nothing next summer. Man United have brought in a world-class centre-back to play alongside Harry Maguire, and they've added even more attacking talent to an already exciting forward line. But is this enough to propel the Red Devils to Premier League glory? Premier League glory that they haven't tasted since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. There's only one way to find out, so I went on to the editor, made both of these transfers happen in the summer of 2021, so now all that's left to do is see if Sancho and Varane can guide Man United to Premier League glory. Can they do it? Let's find out. Okay, here we are at the end of the last Premier League season, the 31st of May 2021, Man United coming second, 12 points shy of Manchester City. It wasn't a massive gap, but it was never really a title race after Christmas. But Man United have got two big players coming their way. Well, let's have a look at the transfer centre. As you can see, Raphael Varane and Jadon Sancho both joining the club on the 1st of July 2021. Let's simulate a month and a couple of days into the future just to prove these transfers are happening, and then we'll see how they get on in the Premier League. Okay, here we are, the 2nd of July 2021, and as if by magic, Man United have signed Raphael Varane and Jadon Sancho for a combined fee of £113 million. I've given both players 4-year deals, both on 200 grand a week. Here's Varane, as you can see, he's been given the number 16 shirt, pleased to have joined Man United. As for Jadon Sancho, in reality he's the number 25. On this simulation, unfortunately, he's got the number 12. But as you can see, a 4-year deal, 200 grand a week. But will those signings be enough to take Man United to the Premier League title? Not a million miles off last season, but far enough away. Varane and Maguire at the back, that is a top level centre-back duo. As for Jadon Sancho, he can play on both wings. You'd imagine he's going to play on that right flank. It's a position where Man United haven't really got a mainstay. We've seen Greenwood play out there at times. I mean, they've even had to push Pogba out wide at points. Rashford's played on the right as well, but he's more suited to the left. Jadon Sancho is going to be the man down that right flank. How many goals and assists will he get in the Premier League? This will be his first season of Premier League football. Same for Raphael Varane. Raphael Varane, incredibly experienced. Years at Real Madrid. I mean, it doesn't get any higher pressure than that. But how will they cope in their first years? And little prediction, I don't think they're going to win it after a season. But maybe I'll be wrong. Let's simulate a year into the future. Let's see how both these players get on at Man United. Okay, here we are, the 12th of June 2022, and while they've gained 4 more points on last season's tally, Man United have slightly gone down the Premier League table. They came third with 78 points, but they were 15 points shy of eventual winners, Liverpool. They got 93 points to win the Premier League title back from Manchester City. Meanwhile, Man United coming third. They've closed the gap on Man City though. They were only 8 points behind Man City, so that's an improvement. It's still been it's a good season for Man United, but still not enough to win the Premier League title. You look at the top of the charts, there's no Jadon Sancho in terms of assists, average rating. Elsewhere, there's no Raphael Varane either. In fact, there's no Man United player whatsoever. Let's check the Red Devils out, because perhaps maybe they've won something else. We'll have a little look. Check out the schedule. Have Jadon Sancho and Raphael Varane already got silverware since joining Man United? It was a strong start of the season. They didn't lose a game until they played Leeds on the 29th of October. They were unbeaten in league and cup action, which was pretty impressive. The League Cup, they made it to the quarter-finals, losing to Bournemouth 3-2. That's a little bit embarrassing. Champions League, they made it through a group including Barcelona, Slavia Prague and Benfica. A tough group. FA Cup, they were beaten in the quarters by rivals Manchester City. But in the Champions League, they made it all the way to the final, where they were beaten by Paris Saint-Germain. It was a strong run in the Champions League. They knocked out Napoli, a tough game. They then knocked out Sevilla, a team that had problems with in the Europa League. And then they beat Liverpool in the semi-final. They got to the final against Paris Saint-Germain. That went 1-0 down. Mason Greenwood got a goal back. But it was a Riyad Mahrez winner in extra time. You can see Raphael Varane, he played alright at 7.5 alongside Harry Maguire, who got an 8.9. Jadon Sancho though, disappointing. One of Man United's worst players on the night, 6.7. He wasn't able to influence proceedings at all. So in their first season, they've made it to a Champions League final and they've came third in the Premier League. Let's have a little look at the average ratings, and Raphael Varane was one of Man United's best players. In fact, he was the fourth best player. He was behind Fernandes, Pogba and Cavani. There's Varane, an average rating from 32 games, which isn't a massive amount compared to Bruno Fernandes, who played 58 times, but Varane getting an average rating of 7.36. You've got to go a little bit down to find Jadon Sancho. There he is. He played 49 starts, 1 substitute appearance, in total 50 appearances. Didn't hit double figures for either goals or assists, something he's been doing for Borussia Dortmund in the Bundesliga. In all competitions, he got 9 goals and 7 assists, an average rating of 7.18. It looks like Jadon Sancho, first year's been a bit of a learning curve. Just getting stuck into Premier League action. Average rating 7.23 in the Premier League. That's alright. There's nothing wrong with that. But he's got to be doing better in the years to come, which I'm sure he will be. Unsurprisingly, that Raphael Varane settled in seamlessly. I mean, he's a class act at the back. He's an absolute Rolls Royce. I'm really excited to see him. Alongside Harry Maguire, those two are going to be so difficult to get past. But after one season, those two new signings worth £113 million have gotten Man United to a Champions League final. But still, they're not really anywhere near Premier League glory. 15 points shy of the winners Liverpool. But both have had a year to settle in. Sancho's getting used to Premier League football. Varane's getting used to Premier League football. Surely things can only get better in year 2. Or will it be second season syndrome? Let's simulate another year in the future. Let's find out. Okay, here we are, the 11th of June 2023, year 2 of the Sancho and Varane Man United experience, which sounds like some kind of strange WWE tag team that probably wouldn't get any titles and be split up after a few months and then feud for no reason, and neither of them would do anything. Anyway, they are getting closer to the Premier League title, but still, they haven't won it. This season, they've came second, even bigger points tally, 87 points, only to be eclipsed by Man City, who got 94. They were 7 points shy of the Premier League title. It's been another great season for Man United, but another season that has still failed to deliver Premier League glory. But has there been any cup success elsewhere? Let's have a little look. It was again another strong start to the season. They didn't lose a game in all competitions until October, beaten by Southampton there. The Champions League, they were up against Werder Bremen, Lyon and Juventus. A decent enough group, pretty tough. League Cup, they were knocked out of the quarter-finals by Liverpool. Champions League, they made it through. FA Cup, beaten in the 5th round by Leeds, pretty disappointing. Champions League, they beat Zenit in the first knockout round. Then they beat Borussia Dortmund in the quarters. A semi-final date with rivals Manchester City. They got through that on penalties. Let's have a little look at that semi-final actually. Varane came off injured. And Jadon Sancho didn't take a penalty, probably for the best. I'm sorry, Jadon, I'm sorry. You know, you were brave enough to step up in the Euros final. But here, he hasn't stepped up. And Man United have won. Rashford scored, so you know, that's fine. They got to the final, they played Real Madrid. And Man United are the champions of Europe. Raphael Varane, a strong performance in the final, 7.2. Meanwhile, Jadon Sancho didn't feature in the final. Is he injured perhaps? Is that why he hasn't played? Let's have a little look. See if he's had an injury. No, it doesn't look like it. For some reason he just wasn't selected. How strange. This season Sancho hasn't actually played as much football. 22 starts, 14 substitute appearances, 8 goals and 8 assists. Quite way down in the rankings of average ratings for Man United players. 7.09. We'll go nearer the top. That's where we're going to find Raphael Varane. 36 starts, 2 sub appearances. Again, why isn't Varane playing quite as much? Are they being a bit conservative with him? Maybe he's not putting him in every game. I mean, if you look at Rashford there, 55 appearances including subs. Back to Varane though, an average rating of 7.35. Rock solid, the best defender at the club, just ahead of Luke Shaw. And it's been another great season for Raphael Varane. Not so much for Jadon Sancho. A little bit disappointing in that respect. Look at Varane here. His average rating's gone up. He only played 22 times in the Premier League. Has he had injuries? Let's have a little look. Yeah, he's had a fair few actually. Is Raphael Varane a little bit injury plagued? I mean, I don't know. Let us know in the comments if he is. It's not something I'm aware of. But elsewhere, Man United have been bringing other acquisitions to the club. They brought in Mary Demiral, another centre-back. They brought in Leon Bailly from Bayer Leverkusen, another winger. They've also brought in Nicolo Zaniolo. And that isn't the end of matters, because they are trying to sign Martin Odegaard. Clearly, Varane and Sancho aren't enough on their own to take Man United to the Premier League title. That's why Man United have offered £118 million to bring Martin Odegaard to Old Trafford. Perhaps he'll be the missing link. Perhaps he can be the man to take this team to Premier League glory. Varane so far has been a great signing. Jadon Sancho hasn't really hit the heights that you'd expect for a £73 million signing. But maybe things will come to life in Season 3. But then again, both these players are Champions League winners already. I mean, Varane's done it multiple times with Real Madrid. But Jadon Sancho, for the first time in his career, a Champions League win. Will they get Premier League medals in year 3? Let's simulate another year into the future. Let's find out. Okay, here we are, the 9th of June 2024, and while Man United have came the lowest they've came so far, finishing in 4th, this has been a proper title race. Only 6 points separate Man City in 1st with 86 and Man United in 4th with 80. It has been so close, only 2 wins the difference between 1st and 4th. But it's ended with Man United coming 4th. Mason Greenwood sharing the Golden Boot. Martin Odegaard getting 15 assists. Turns out he did sign. That's how much he came for. It was £118 million. 2 goals, 15 assists, an average rating of 7.71 in his first season. Jadon Sancho, take note. That is how you arrive at Manchester United. But have they won any other trophies? Obviously, last season they won the Champions League. They kicked things off with a Super Cup win, beating Everton in the final. And it was actually Jadon Sancho who got the winner in the 89th minute, coming off the bench by the looks of things, and he got the decisive goal. It was a game that Raphael Varane didn't feature, but it doesn't matter because he's got another medal to go in his very, very full medal cabinet, which he might have. League Cup, they made it to the final and they actually won it. They beat Leicester 2-1 in extra time. Jadon Sancho injured coming off. Raphael Varane also injured. Both big money signings limping out of the final. But again, they've got themselves another medal. FA Cup, they've only gone and won that as well. They've won 1-0 thanks to a Marcus Rashford penalty at Wembley. I wish I could have said that in the summer. Raphael Varane, great performance in the final, 7.8. Him and Maguire just looking great. Jadon Sancho was 7.5, a solid performance from him as well. So they've done a cup double. Champions League, they were beaten by Ajax. That was a little bit humiliating in the first knockout round as the holders. In fact, in the second leg, Jadon Sancho was terrible, 6.1. Let's have a look at the players. Martin Odegaard going straight in as the best player at the club, playing 53 times and an average rating of 7.73. Don't be fooled by Edinson Cavani there and he's 7.8. He only played once. Jadon Sancho, for the first time in this simulation though, has finished above Raphael Varane. Raphael Varane, you can see near the bottom of our screen, 32 starts, 4 sub appearances, 7.11. I mean, it's lower than what he's done in his first 2 years, but for a centre-back who hasn't scored any goals or got any assists, it's still solid. I mean, if you're getting a 7, you're doing pretty good really as a centre-back. That's all you want. Keep the ball out of the net, kick it away, 7 out of 10, thank you very much. Jadon Sancho though, much better. Didn't feature as much in year 2. In year 3, 42 appearances in all competitions, and finally he's hit double figures in something. 11 assists in all competitions, 7 goals, average rating of 7.37, which is pretty good. Things on the up for Jadon Sancho. Not only that, he's got a new contract until 2028, so Sancho's going nowhere, and neither is Raphael Varane. He's staying until 2028 as well, and he's even got a wage increase to 215 grand a week, the lucky devil. Jadon Sancho will be there collecting his pennies, wondering why Varane got a rise, and he didn't. They're getting closer to the Premier League title, but they still haven't done it. But they've won a Champions League, they've won the European Super Cup, they've won an FA Cup, they've won a League Cup. All they need to do next season's going to be the last one I'm going to look at. Please be the one where they win a Premier League title. Will they do it? Let's find out. Okay, here we are for the 4th and final time, the 15th of June 2025, and Man United have been pipped to the title by an Erling Haaland inspired Manchester City. 2 Norwegians dominating the Premier League, Erling Haaland for City, Martin Odegaard for Man United, and it is Man City who came out on top with 94 points, 9 clear of Manchester United. After 4 years, Jadon Sancho and Raphael Varane still can't inspire Man United to Premier League glory. But has there been any other glory? They've won the Community Shield, if you want to count that. Raphael Varane played absolutely terribly, but that doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter to a certain extent. Jadon Sancho came off the bench for so few minutes, he didn't even get a rating. Elsewhere, how have they got on? The League Cup, they made it to the final where they were beaten 3-0 by Manchester City. That's pretty disappointing. Varane, a 6.9, not bad. Sancho, 6.4, so he clearly wasn't at his creative best at Wembley on that day. Elsewhere, the FA Cup, beaten in the semi-finals by Leicester, Jadon Sancho getting on the score sheet. But it's alright because this season has ended in another Champions League success for the Red Devils. Interestingly though, it's a Champions League success where neither Jadon Sancho or Raphael Varane featured in the final. Nicolo Zaniolo getting a brace, it was a 3-0 win, an absolute spanking, putting Man City in their place, punishment for beating them in the League Cup final 3-0. I think if you wanted to win one of those games, it was always going to be the Champions League. Let's have a little look earlier in the competition, the PSG semi-final. In neither leg, Sancho or Varane featured. What about the quarters? There was Sancho, played pretty poorly. Wasn't massively impressive in the first leg. Let's have a look at how they've got on. Jadon Sancho, actually one of the best players at the club. There you go, that's why he didn't play. He's been injured. He got an injury on the 27th of May. That must have been on like the eve of the final. Oh, it was a few days before the final and Jadon Sancho picked up an injury in what has been his best season at Man United. The 3rd best player at the club. Only started 28 times. He got 11 goals, 8 assists, 7.72 behind Odegaard and behind Rashford. Where is Raphael Varane? He's played 29 times, 7.11 again, pretty solid. But he is on the transfer list and they only want £15 million for him. Why is he on the transfer? If they just decided at 32, he's too old. I mean, he's just had a good season. Is he not naturally fit? I mean, what's his natural fitness? 16, I mean, that's pretty good. Not very quick though. Stamina's poor. Maybe that's why Raphael Varane's not featuring that much. But after 4 years, they've won 2 Champions Leagues, an FA Cup, a League Cup, a Super Cup and a Community Shield. But still no Premier League title. Jadon Sancho's got an extra 10 grand a week though in his pocket, which is pretty good. 18 appearances in the Premier League, only 14 starts in this season. He has had a few injuries, to be fair to him, especially in 2025. 3 weeks out with a thigh strain, 3 weeks out with a twisted ankle, and then he ended the season, because of wear and tear, to knee tendonitis. But after 4 years of Jadon Sancho and Raphael Varane at Old Trafford, they still haven't been able to win the Premier League. They can spend all the money they want. They can spend over 100 million quid on 2 world-class players, and it still isn't enough to put Man United back to the top of English football. But it was enough to win them 2 Champions Leagues. Man United fans, what would you rather? Because to be honest, 2 Champions Leagues is nothing to be sniffed at. We will leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Elecspo. And until next time, we will see you around.